So I've been working in Davinci Resolve for a little while now, and I've found it very useful to have a template of files and project templates that I use when starting a new project. So let me show you how I organize my files on both my desktop and in Davinci Resolve so that you can do the same. In my files, I have a template file that I work off of. I've named that file 00-template file so that when I get into my main file, I can always find the template file and copy it. In that template file, I have a footage, sound effects, music, images, renders, timelines, and thumbnails file. Those files allow me to organize all of my assets for the editing project to make sure I'm not losing track of anything. All of the footage will go in the footage one, and all of the renders, as I finish them, will go in the renders file. I have a timelines file to make sure that if I'm exporting the timeline for anybody or even for myself, I have a file where those live, and I'll always have a version of them in a file somewhere, and I won't lose them. Off to the right, I also have a Davinci Resolve template project. This template project opens up a new project for me with all of my file structure already in it, so I don't have to worry about dragging and dropping all of my files into the new project. It comes complete with new timelines, fusion compositions, and everything I need to get a project off the ground immediately. So let's open up Davinci Resolve so that you can see how I structure my files inside the editing program. So as we get into Davinci Resolve, we can see that I have one master file, and inside that master file are all the different files that I need to get my project off the ground immediately. These files pretty much mirror what I have set up on my file structure that I showed you before. This way, I don't have to do a lot of extra work to make sure that the file structure stays the same. There are a couple of extra things here though, where in timelines, I have both a shorts timeline and a regular 1080p timeline set up. And in those timelines, I have all of the video tracks and audio tracks I need to get my project off the ground without having to create a whole new timeline with all of these audio and video tracks labeled the way I like them. And the same thing happens in the shorts track. They are the same template. The difference is the resolution of the file. So the timeline of the shorts is the 1080 by 1920, like the YouTube 1080p is the 1920 by 1080. So you can take your timelines and you can change the resolution of them by duplicating them and then changing the timeline settings. Because there isn't any footage on the timeline right now or any audio tracks, you're able to change the resolution so you can make it the 1080 by 1920 of the YouTube Shorts or TikTok and not have it affect the timeline, and thus allow you to render out that timeline as a Shorts timeline. The other couple files that you might see here you haven't seen before are the effects and fusion files. These two files are to store all of the effects you create on an adjustment layer and all of the fusion compositions you make while you're editing. That way you have a direct, organized way of finding those files, and you can just reuse those clips or those fusion compositions as often as you need to. So that's how I structure my video editing projects, so I can use a template to get off the ground and running as fast as possible and keep myself organized throughout the whole process. If you like this video, consider subscribing for more Davinci Resolve tutorials. Let me know what I might be missing in my project templates down below and I'll add them in.